Alright, today on Flock Family Home, we're making poppy seed almond scones. Here we go. So for today's video, we're going to be using a basting brush, a kitchen butter knife, a 1/3 cup measuring cup, a 1 cup measuring cup, measuring spoons, a bench scraper, pastry cutter. I need a cutting board and a sharp knife, a liquid measuring cup, a kitchen standing mixer with a whisk attachment and a dough attachment. We're also going to need a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, cooling racks with parchment paper underneath, and a plastic bag for decorating with icing. And for our ingredients today, we're going to use 5 cups of flour, 1 whole cup of cubed, very cold butter. This is actually frozen butter. 1 1/4 cup buttermilk, 2 whole eggs, a little bit of almond extract, 1/3 cup sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of poppy seeds, 5 teaspoons of baking powder, plus 3/4 teaspoon baking soda. It's important to remember that when you scoop the flour, you get a heaping scoop. You pack it down and level it off. That way each cup of flour that you get is always going to be exactly the same. From here we're just going to start adding our dry ingredients. Add in our sugar, our salt, baking soda and baking powder, and our poppy seeds. We're going to add in the whisk attachment, get that going in our KitchenAid mixer here. So you know, if you turn this on too high, you're going to make a huge mess. So we're going to start real slow. It's important that this butter properly gets cut in. So this is the one time we're going to have to take it off the mixer. Just take your pastry cutter. Make sure that butter gets really well incorporated. This is a simple enough process. You just push down into the flour mixture. Make sure the butter and flour are getting well incorporated. You're looking for either called a wet sand consistency or little pea-like granules in there to make sure that it all works well together. Just takes a couple of minutes. Almond extract to our buttermilk. We're going to do 2 teaspoons of almond extract. This stuff is potent, so try not to go too much heavy on it. And here they are, fresh out of the oven. Okay, so we usually let that go for about 3 to 5 minutes until it's really well incorporated. Really you want to make the mixer do all the work for you, so you don't have to. You're going to take a little extra flour. Throw it down on your cutting board here. This thing needs to now get turned out. And you're going to have to work it a little bit by hand. be a big sticky ball. All you really want to do now is try to work it into one consistent ball without any cracks and cavities in it. If it ends up having too many cracks and cavities, it'll split as it bakes, and it doesn't make a very pretty one, pretty scone. So I'm going to cut this in half off to the side. And we're going to turn this into a big old disc. Should be approximately 8 to 10 inches across. About 3/4 to an inch thick. Cut it in half, cut it into quarters, cut it into eighths. Very simple. Half, quarters, eighths. Alright. These go on the baking sheet over here. And we'll do that again. Scones are a very simple treat you can make. Does not take a lot of skill. You can do it without the standing mixer. Mix it all in a bowl and knead it all by hand until it comes together. The standing mixer is just the easiest way to do it. I think they come out pretty much the same, so why not do it the easy route? Spaced very well. There you go. Now, one thing I forgot to mention in the beginning when I was doing my ingredient list was a little bit of half and half. We take a little bit of half and half, take the basting brush or a pastry brush if you have one. They both work well. And coat the top of each scone. You don't want it too wet, but you need just a little bit of moisture up there. Otherwise it tend to crumble and crack on the surface. This helps keep it a nice clean sheen finish. Alright, now these will go in the oven for about 12 minutes. Depending how wide and thick you made them, could go a little more than that. But when they come, when you poke it with a toothpick comes out clean, they're done and ready to start cooling. So we're making the glaze for the almond poppy seed scones, and we're going to need some half and half, some powdered sugar, a bowl and a whisk, some almond extract, measuring cup, a spatula, some measuring spoons, and a plastic bag for piping it out later. Which first we're going to need is 1 cup of powdered sugar, There we go. That'll go into the bowl. A teaspoon of almond extract. A tablespoon of half and half. You're just going to want to mix that all together. So depending on how well you pack your powdered sugar, sometimes you might need to add a little more liquid into this. We'll see how it looks here. It looks like mine's going to be just a little bit stiff. So I'm just going to add another half a tablespoon of milk here, or half and half. If you want this a little thicker, a little thinner, you just add more powdered sugar or more half and half as desired. If you start adding too much, you're going to have to add a little more almond extract because you really want that almondy flavor in here. That looks really good. We want it to be thick and have a little bit of a flow to it like that. That way we get a really nice drizzle on our scones. All right. And then try to get it off your whisk. You're going to take your plastic bag and you're going to turn it so almost inside out to make like a little bowl in there. All right, take your spatula, scoop all your goodies out, and pour that into that bag right there. Sorry, I'm not showing you the right direction because I am not left-handed. Push some of that excess air out. You would take either a knife or a pair of scissors, and you're going to just barely clip the corner. I mean, just the tiniest little bit off. You probably can't even see how little I took off, but just a little tiny bit. That way, you get this really nice piping feature right there. Look at that. And if that's too thin for you, then go ahead and make the hole a little bigger. In fact, I might just do that just to show you what it looks like. And the littlest bit will make that hole quite a bit bigger. So, I mean, I just took off just barely a bit more. And look how much thicker that is. So, it varies pretty quickly. So we'll go pipe some scones. So now we have our wax paper and a cooling rack with fresh scones on there. These scones have completely cooled. If you put the icing on while the scones are hot, you'll melt the icing and it won't hold your pretty decoration. So I like this pattern. Make sure you go all the way across the scone and get a really nice look to it. So I prefer that one. feel free to change it up a little bit. You could just do the back and forth, keeping it nice and tight. You do a double pattern. Or swirls, or just cover the whole thing, however you like it. Yeah, you just should have more than enough here to do all of your scones. Unless you're really putting it on heavy, but there you go. They're ready to eat. You can let them dry. Like this, the icing will actually harden, and you can package them and save them for later. Or you could just eat them with the gooey icing on there. They're absolutely delicious that way. They're great with coffee, and they're great for dessert, great for breakfast. They're quick and easy to make. I hope you guys like them. Please comment if you have any questions. Share our videos. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope you enjoy. Flock Family Home.